Okay, good evening, everyone. This is Sachin Karnik. Today is the 14th of December 2023. We are doing our informational session today on the online self-mastery and personal transformation program. By the way, Chetna, if you want to change the name, you've got my name in there, so just for it doesn't matter. Um, the way we will do this today is that I will ask Dr. Chetana Kripalu, who is the founder and the CEO of the Angel Wing LLC, to make a few introductory comments about this program, and then she'll turn it over to me. Then I'll give a presentation for a good 30 minutes, 30, 35, 40 minutes or so. Please do feel free to interrupt me at any time if you have any questions or comments. And then we'll have a Q&A session afterwards. And we can go beyond 8 o'clock if you want also, but we'll try to end somewhere around 8, 8:10 or something like that, so try to keep it to an hour, not make it too long. But I'm here for you guys, and I think this is going to be an interesting journey. So I want to introduce Dr. Chetana Kripalu. She is the founder and the CEO of the Angel Wing LLC. She and I started this endeavor in 2018, like around end of 2018, and then it has continued since then. So she's going to give some background, and then go from there. Chetna, go ahead, please.
All right. Thank you, Sachin. Thank you, everyone, for coming on tonight. And like Sachin said, we started this Angel Wing actually we started Angel Wing a little later in 21, but the meditation sessions and everything had started 2 years before that, actually 3 years before that. So everything actually, it kind of took a whole different turn. We used to do it in face to face and in person before, but then it kind of went all online, and I didn't even know how to navigate the online world. But during COVID, it was so essential. So it was amazing how the turnout was and the need and everything else. So we really realized that online is the best way to go because people can log in from the comfort of their own homes, and etc. So we've been doing since then. We have our programs. I think most of you here know about our programs. If you don't, please go to our website, and you'll see the meditations on Monday and Wednesday. We have Dr. Elizabeth Berman, and then Sachin on Sundays with dialogue. We had we've had two online, in-person retreats, annual retreats so far. I think most of you have been there, so it's wonderful. And now we have monthly retreats at my place, and also Irene's as and when needed, if I'm not available. And please join us there also. It would be wonderful. But this is the first online program we're starting in January, on January 9th. It's a wonderful, wonderful, and an amazing endeavor. It's a almost like a fruit of all of Sachin's work for the last, I don't know, at least 30 years, maybe. All his experience in his life and all his knowledge, he's really put it into this, and he's literally like come up with a program. I've done it for a trial with him for 13 weeks. It starts with 13 weeks, it goes on further, but I would really like everybody to join this, and I would recommend, please commit to the 13 weeks, because this is about you and your inner growth and your own development. And that's the primary goal that I have learned from my experience, which we really, really need at this point more and more, about how we can change our perception. And really, by doing that, meditations, there's so many tools which is involved in that, but just to even go through this process of introspection, meditative reflections, and this program itself is going to guide you. And that's why it's called a personal transformation program. So our whole request is, we don't want to obviously put a price to all this stuff. But the only thing we would really want from each and every one of you is commitment to be in the program for 13 weeks, because that's the only way you will see how the beginning of a transformation, not just a change, and you would see how you were in the beginning and what how you are or how you'll be at the end of 13 weeks. So I don't want to take up too much time, but I will leave everything to now Sachin's presentation, and obviously we have Q&As for you after that. So please stay tuned.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Chetana KRIPALU. Before I begin, I just want to mention one thing here, that please do follow me step by step as I'm going through this, because if you have a question in between, just interrupt me, just unmute or turn on your video, and don't hesitate to ask a question, because any gap in the knowledge, it can be easily filled, so just don't hesitate to do that. So to begin with, welcome everyone. This program is an online program. It is called the Angel Wings Online Self-Mastery and Personal Transformation Program. The word quantum is in parentheses, and we'll get to later on why that's the case. This is a systematic approach to balance our lives, including mine, all of us together, and evolve towards personal excellence. This is the basic idea. So there's a disclaimer here, and I will be sending you these slides after our presentation today. In a nutshell, all this disclaimer means is that anyone engaging in this should realize this is not a treatment program for medical, psychiatric, or psychological problems. It is more along the lines of coaching, more along the lines of self-development. It's a facilitation. It's a facilitated process to go through to reach higher stages of life. That's the basic idea, but you can read that on your own later on. Background information. I, in the last several years, started the Energy and Personal Excellence Program. It's the individualized life coaching and self-development program that was started in 2018 and 2019. And that's been pretty well developed. I've had about 20, 25 people engaged in that, and I found that to be very, very useful, and I found that to be very effective. I had multiple conversations with Dr. Chetana KRIPALU about opening this up at the group level to do this for groups of individuals so that more people can get access to it, and it can bridge beautifully with the Angel Wings overall philosophy, right? In this program, a couple of things for you to keep in mind. First of all, there's no charge. There's absolutely no charge. You'll not be sending any money to us for anything at all. What you will need to have these 5 items with you every week. You will need 2 books, 2 written like notebooks, each one about 100 pages or so. It could be 70 pages if you want, it's fine. 70 to 100 pages, it's a workbook 1, workbook 2, and you will need just a blank envelope. I'll explain to you about that later on. Need a drawing book, more like a drawing book, where you can draw pictures in. If you don't have that, you can draw the pictures in your notebooks also, but it's preferable to draw them inside the notebook. And the reason that there's a lot of pictures and all that to draw, a lot of fun stuff to do, because even teenagers can do this program. This is not really a difficult program. It's just a matter of going through it step by step by step. That's why we have pictures and drawings and other things like that. You'll also need 1 blank 3x5 card per week, right? And you'll need 13 of them. This is a 13-week program straight through. Now, to understand this program, before I actually explain the program, we need to be very clear about the core principles of the Angel Wing program. The Angel Wing program is based on 3 guiding principles. This is the very foundation. And if anybody has questions about this, please do ask. I don't want to rush through these slides. I want to take a good half an hour, 40 minutes, or even more. Make sure that we are doing this together. This is not simply Sachin giving a lecture or anything like that. We are right now, even in this workshop, or even in this informational session, we are doing this together. We are thinking together. We are trying to understand together. That is the approach that will be taken all the way through. So the first principle of Angel Wing is self-mastery. What is this principle all about? And you'll see here on the left side, there is a brief definition. Self-mastery involves cultivating the ability to control one's emotions, actions, and thoughts in order to achieve personal growth and success, right? What is that personal growth and success? That's going to be up to you. You'll see what that means for you. It will be clear to each of us further from where we are now what that means. It is a lifelong journey of self-awareness, discipline, and continuous improvement to reach one's full potential. Keep this in mind, please. And if you are taking notes, feel free to do so. Or if you're not, that's perfectly fine. You can refer to this. Please pay attention to these points. Our goal is to reach our full potential. Do we have full potential to reach? Yes. Can we reach it? Yes. How does that happen? Well, that self-mastery goes right along with personal transformation, which is the second piece of this pie. You can see on the right-hand side here, the definition. It's one of the definitions. Personal transformation is the process of consciously changing one's thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors to foster self-improvement and growth. I hope we're together. We're doing this together, please. All right, so let's be really in sync with these ideas and make sure that it's making sense, because it's going to get a little bit more intricate as we move along. Nothing complicated. We're to start slow and go carefully. Let's look at this definition again. Transformation. One of the best analogies is of a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. That is transformation. Change is what? Change is a caterpillar going from point A to point B, back to point A and all, moving around as a caterpillar. That's change. So transformation is the process of consciously changing our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. Why? To foster self-improvement. Keep this in mind. We'll be getting back to this point throughout our presentation today. It often involves and is going to involve introspection, self-awareness, embracing new perspectives. These things we talk about in our usual Angel Wing programming. Of course, Dr. BERMAN's programs, the Monday evening programs, our dialogues, and so many other things, retreats are all about that. Because we want to create a much more fulfilling and authentic life, a life of joy. We're looking for happiness. We're looking for joy, balance. If we do these, if self-mastery and personal transformation does come about in our lives, we will be in a position to assist humanity in general for upliftment. What does that mean? There's two boxes at the bottom. You can see them. Easy to understand. Human upliftment emphasizes the importance of social responsibility, collaboration, and positive change in order to create a more inclusive and equitable society. We are part of the society. There are problems in society, countless. But how do we go about affecting the society outside, meaning our families, our friends, the people that are within our sphere of influence? How do we go about that? We go about that by self-mastery, personal transformation, and then once that actually begins to happen, then we are in a position to affect those around us through the radiance, the luminosity that is emitting from our own development. That is not ego. That is a higher development from within. And then the second box on the right there, human upliftment refers to the collective effort to improve the quality of life and well-being. That's our Angel Wing group. You know, we have a fantastic group of people that are dedicated to doing this. And it is a collective effort. The more we together embrace these principles that we want to make our life better, we want to transform, not just make our life better, but more than that, what will happen collectively is that the quality of life will improve for those around us. The well-being of individuals and communities improves from the root, from the ground. And then that empowers others. Empowerment increases. Education increases and personal development. These are the general principles. Before I go forward, does anyone have any question about any of this? Again, please remember, these are profound ideas. There are massive volumes being written on this. But if you have a question about this, please ask right now. Or you can ask later on also. If you don't have a question, I'm going to move on. Please don't hold back. Now, we're going to go through the next 20 minutes or so this multi-year perspective, multi-year model. This is a model. Please remember, don't get overwhelmed by this. Don't feel you have to do all of this. Don't try to think of it as like, my God, I have to do it. Don't. I just want you to try to understand. Attempt here simply to bring the concept out. That's all. Right. So having said that, this is the 7-stage model. And it can be thought about in terms of 6+ years, but it's a 7-stage model. So first of all, let's go back to that question about self-mastery. No? How is that even going to happen? How does that even happen? Well, think of it this way. Let me just do one thing here very quickly. Just talk to you. We'll get back to the slide in just a moment. Think about a car. Simple car, right? We all have cars. We cannot drive the car properly if there is imbalance in the wheels. We all know that there's 4 wheels in a car. If the wheels are not balanced properly, we know it. The steering is off or the wheels is making some sound. There's an imbalance in there's nothing wrong with the tire, but there's a balancing problem. Similarly, our life is like that. We are moving from day to day, day to day, day to day. Are we moving from day to day, day to night and night to day, waking to sleep and sleep to wake? Are we moving in the 24-hour cycle, revolving in the 24-hour cycle, like the wheels that are revolving underneath the car? Are we doing so with balance? This is the question. Let's stay with that question for a moment. There's nothing mystical about this. It's 5th grader can understand this. Are we doing this with balance? I would almost bet, if I was ever betting again, God forbid, to say that most people would say, no, our life is not completely balanced. There are periods of balance. Not completely balanced. Now, keep this point in mind. Now this gets very interesting. Let's go back to this slide here. Okay. Our goal, before I explain this green box first, let's try to understand this point here. Let's see what happened to this. That's not it. Hold on. This thing should have. There we go. Let's look at this slide. I'm going to spend some time understanding this point. You see there's 12 numbers there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., up to 12. You'll also see that all of the numbers are interconnected together. 1 connects to 2, 2 connects to 3, etc. You will also see that at the center of the diagram, there is core energy. Let me actually put the pointer on here so that I can... Where is the pointer thing? And somehow it's not showing up on here. All right, hold on one second here. Oh, that's all right. Just 1 second here. Okay. There's seems to be a pointer here somewhere, but somehow it's not showing up. All right. You will see in this diagram, the center here is core energy. What is that? That is the energy inside our brain, inside our mind, and in our body. It's our power. It's the power that runs our life. Now, it comes from food. And then some people can think of it as a spiritual energy also. That is core energy. That is the root energy inside of us. Now, these 1 through 12, I'll tell you what that is in just a moment. This is what we're going to try to balance. You also see there's a 12-sided white figure there. It's called a dodecagon. It's a 12-sided figure. All that simply means is the first dimension, number 1, it intersects with itself and all the other 11. Now, what are these numbers, 1 through 12? They are the 12 dimensions of life. I'm going to go through these, and you will notice as I'm going through it, would like you to just simply be aware of the fact that we have these 12 dimensions in our own way. Everybody has them in their own way, right? In some way or another. Maybe may not have 1 or 2 of them, like something like spiritual life. Some people may not be at all spiritual, but usually people have something that's related to them. So first dimension is career. We've all had careers. Maybe we have career now. That is dimension 1. I won't go through all the definitions. Just go through the list right now. Dimension 2 is finances. Our financial situation. That is finances. Dimension 3 is physical health. The state of our physical health. Remember, so these dimensions are going to have a rating. It means that we have career, but what is the level of that career? What is the best quality of that career? So take physical health, for example. Physical health, we can rate on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 would be like excellent physical health. 0 would be the worst. 1 would be pretty bad, but 0 would be like absolutely the worst. And then everything in between. This is a 0 to 10 scale that we'll be using for all 12 of these. Very easy. And it's our assessment. It's not that Sachin is going to give you an assessment or somebody else is going to. You're going to give yourself an assessment based on some criteria. But before we get to that, realize and recognize the fact that we all have these 12 areas. Maybe they can be written in different words, different language. So career, finances, dimension 3 is physical health, physical well-being, fitness, nutrition, all that is there. Dimension 4 is mental health, our state of mind, psychological well-being, emotional well-being. That's what dimension 4 refers to. That's what those 12 numbers are. In this diagram we were looking at here, 1 through 12, that's what these 12 numbers are. And this is what we want to balance. Dimension 5, family and relationships. We want best quality interaction and relationship with family members, with relationships, with significant others. Damage in these dimensions, like dimension 5, it causes imbalance on all 12. I'll talk about that in a moment. Dimension 6 is social life. We need social interactions. And it's different for each person, different at all different stages of life. All of these dimensions are in flux. They change over time. Dimension 7 is just personal development, personal growth, self-improvement, learning new skills, trying to reach other goals that we may have. And these things will be explained in more detail later on. Dimension 8 is spiritual life, which includes religion. I just put the word spiritual there because it's a little broader. And so some people might be spiritual but not religious, etc., things like that. But that includes religion also. Beliefs, practices, values, sense of purpose, meaning, relationship with God, etc. Different traditions. Dimension 9 is recreation and leisure life. We all need that. Some people ignore that. Some people do too much of that. Right? So we need to bring that into balance. That's recreation and leisure is dimension 9. Dimension 10 is environment. This relates to our physical surroundings and living conditions. You know what this means? This is very important. They're all important. Our home. Is our home a peaceful, clean, healthy place? It begins at home. Is our car clean? Some people's cars are a disaster. And then they feel distressed by going in the car because of all the mess and garbage that's in there. Cleanliness. See, these are important qualities that the physical surroundings, living conditions in our neighborhoods, in our homes, in our communities, what is the quality of that on a scale of 0 to 10? And how is that even judged? So that will be all discussed, but that's what that dimension means. Remember, the word dimension means an area that we interact with in our life. Dimension 11 is contribution to society. How are we contributing to society? Are we doing something a little bit above and beyond simply getting a paycheck? That's volunteerism. Volunteerism, charitable activities, community involvement in many places, with nonprofits, with temples or churches or synagogues or with community organizations, doing something without expecting something in return. This is community. This is contribution to society. When we do that, it helps us tremendously and it helps society also. This is dimension 11. Dimension 12 it's like a further extension of dimension 7. Life vision. where are we now? Like, for example, Sachin here is 53 years old. Okay, what is my vision for the next 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? What is my life vision? My God, I've never thought about it. All right, maybe we think about that so much. But this is necessary to gain that broader perspective and gives us a lot of guidance. Overarching life goals, aspirations. See, you'll notice something here. You'll notice something very interesting. Just do this screen share for a moment. You'll notice something very interesting. Throughout each day, we are interacting in these 12 areas in some form or other. Is it not so? Do we not eat food? We eat food. We have to maintain good health. But our mind and our body and our interactions, how does it happen? What's the fuel for that for these dimensions to function? If I'm talking right now, this physical body activity, energy is needed. Without energy, there is no possibility of doing anything in the 12 dimensions. It's impossible. Can't do anything. These 12 dimensions are our life. This is not a theory. It's not some hypothetical scenario. It's not some abstract idea. No, this is our life. And these 12 dimensions, I hope you can see them on the screen, they are enlivened. They can function only with energy. And that's what this core energy is all about in the middle here. Is that true or not? Ask yourself. Let's go slowly with this. Without this core energy, nothing happens. The mind doesn't work. The body doesn't work. You can't go on a trip. You can't, be intimate with your partner. You can't do anything in the family. You can't buy anybody a gift. You can't do anything. You can't. I can't. Nobody can do anything without this energy. We cannot work. We cannot serve the society. We cannot enjoy anything also. These are the basic facts. These are the facts of life. Now, let's go one step further. If we're together, I'm assuming we're together, since I've had no questions so far, which I'm assuming that we are all in sync. If you have questions, you can always ask later on. But let's go slowly. There's a couple more points to really understand here. That you will notice in this diagram that all 12 boxes they're the same size. That's a little bit of a misnomer. In our life, we don't have the same amount of energy going in each area. So the size of the boxes is going to vary, but not the balancing of all 12 together. Meaning what? More energy might be going into work based on your stage of life, less going into maybe recreation. That doesn't mean it's imbalanced. The amount of energy placed in each area is going to vary. I hope that makes sense. It is not the same amount of energy in each area. Absolutely not. But nonetheless, an imbalance in any one area is going to imbalance the other 11. Let's try to understand that point. Why is that so? For example, if someone all of a sudden loses their job, God forbid, with dimension 1, career, something happens, laid off, some change in the economy, change in the structure, something happens that directly affects finances, is going to impact mental health, relationships, family. It's going to impact all 12. You will not be able to take that trip who knows? It's going to cause change in the other areas. Let's take, for example, dimension 5, family and relationships. If there's an argument in the family, if there is a change in the family, the loss of a loved one, or if there's a birth of a child, it's going to change all 12. And what that simply means is that these 12 dimensions are dynamic. They are not static. They are static in a limited sense. But eventually they are changing. Because they are changing, they need to be rebalanced time and time again. Just like a car, that you're driving a car, the car is making a left turn, right turn, so many turns are there. But if the wheels are balanced properly, you can make all kinds of turns and curves and everything, no problem. The balancing remains. Isn't it so? The car analogy is easy to understand. Similarly, as we are moving through our day-to-day life, which means what? Which means 12 dimensions. They're all there. As we're moving through them, our goal in the first year of the program, it begins with the first 13-week segment. Our goal is to take steps on a weekly basis, and all those steps will be in the program itself when that begins in January, on a weekly basis to take steps that are going to establish balance. I hope that makes sense. It's like a car. When a car is being built, or maybe a car is already there, when they put the wheels on, they have to balance the wheels. There's no car, but there's a new car or any car at any point. It cannot be driven properly without the balanced wheels. Similarly, our life is exactly like that. We have to balance our life. There's really no option in this. And people who don't know about that, or they might know it, they don't know how to do it. They're living imbalanced life. There is suffering, pain, difficulty, arguments, problems. The list can just go. We can just go on for a whole year on that. The whole list will just go on. This is, in Sachin's opinion, the fundamental problem in human civilization. That is imbalanced life. I think if you were to ask anybody on the just common person on the street, is your life completely balanced? They'll probably say no. If you ask them, would you like a balanced life? They'll probably say yes. And they would like that. They know that they need that, inherently don't know how to do it. This is the problem. So having said that, a couple more points on this core energy diagram. What is it that we're balancing? It's an interesting question. Car analogy, we can understand that there are wheels that need to be balanced. That's easy to understand. But in our lives, yes, we want to experience the 12 dimensions in the best way. But what is it that we're actually balancing? We are balancing the amount of energy that is placed in each area so that it doesn't cause an imbalance in other areas or within itself. I hope that makes sense. Our actual balancing is our internal power. And then we can place that power, that energy, in different areas of life as needed, mindfully, with awareness, with clarity, with a great deal of self-awareness and responsibility, and so many things that we'll talk about. But that's what we're balancing. We're balancing the 12 areas, the 12 dimensions, definitely. But the 12 dimensions are using energy. Just like a wheel is spinning with the energy that's going into the wheel from the rudder or the motor or whatever it is. If there's a problem in the energy going to the wheel, what if one wheel is spinning faster than another one? It's imbalanced because there's an energy problem. Maybe there's a balancing problem. So now we're talking about two different problems. There can be a balancing problem in the 12 dimensions, and there can be a problem in the amount of energy that is needed for each dimension. I hope that makes sense. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. I want that to be really clear. Two types of difficulties are there. Not enough energy is going into 12 areas, into somewhere. Maybe somebody's ignoring their family, for example. Life is going on, all right, it's going on. Family is being ignored. There's a problem there. Not enough time, energy. When I use the word energy, we are already assuming the use of time. because we're always using time. We're moving through time. So that's already implied. You know, a person goes for a restaurant with their spouse for an hour and a half or 2 hours. You're using money, you're using mental energy, physical energy, you're using energy to establish that relationship, to go to enjoy, experience the enjoyment, but you're also spending time in that. So the imbalance is of two types. The first type is that not enough energy is going into the dimensions where it needs to go, which also means not the proper amount of time. That's one type of imbalance. And the other type of imbalance is that some area, one of the 12 or one or more of those 12 dimensions, is sucking up energy. It's sucking up time, energy. It's sucking up our mental. For example, if there's a family conflict going on, what does it do? It drains our mental energy. It drains our intellectual energy. People say, my God, I got so much on my mind. I got this going on, that going on, this going on. It's a chaos. No wonder there are so many mental health problems and all. We'll talk about that also in upcoming slides. Folks, there's nothing difficult about this. This is life. It's right in front of us. If you're up to the challenge to balance your life, and I'm up to the challenge of balancing my life, let's do this. Now, this is very interesting. Now, let's go further in this. Now, I could talk more about this, but I'm mindful of time also. This core energy, what is that? There's three ways to think about what that is. So here's the first one: inner vitality and strength. Core personal energy refers to the intrinsic vitality and strength that an individual possesses. Intrinsic vitality. Intrinsic means inbuilt. What does the word vitality mean? It means liveliness, dynamism, life, good quality experience, vital, to be vital and strong. It's the strength from inside. Do we have that strength? Yes, but many times we're not aware of it. I want to say a few words about this, just very quickly. Many times we feel so much weakened, weak from inside. We don't feel strong from inside. Why is that? Those two same reasons again. Very simple and straightforward. Some of the areas are not getting the proper energy. Some of them are draining energy. And that's one reason. Another reason is that the core energy is not activated properly enough to enliven the 12 areas. That's why people who say, let's exercise regularly, you have more energy, you have more strength, obviously. If core energy is not activated properly, in the right way, in the right amount, there's a deficiency in the 12 areas. Then there are reactions that occur physically, psychologically, emotionally, in so many ways to deal with that deficiency. I hope that makes sense. Please interrupt me if you want to. These are the basics. These are the fundamentals. Okay. That's the vitality. Now let's go back to that slide again. It'll open. There we go. Core personal energy refers to the intrinsic vitality and strength that we all possess. Everybody possesses it. This energy is responsible for our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. That's what it is. That's what the whole ball game is about, this energy. It encompasses the ability to harness and maintain personal power and resilience, especially in the face of challenges. Is life filled with challenges? Yes. Everyone has challenges. Life is nothing but a challenge. Doesn't matter what the age is. There's always challenges. But how can we harness our personal power with resilience? This is what our program is about. So that we can face the challenges without depleting the internal strength and vitality. This is the first component of what is meant by core energy. The second component, There's nothing earth-shattering about any of this. This is all stuff we already know. We just need to be able to talk about it and understand it. Motivation and purpose. It is this core energy relates to one's motivation and sense of purpose. If we are not motivated, we don't want to do anything. We feel dull, we feel meaningless, we feel useless, and then that causes more imbalance. So this aspect of core personal energy drives an individual to pursue goals, passions, and activities. So our core personal energy is such that is the raw currency. That's what we need. It's like money. The best analogy is just using the analogy of $100 bills. Easy to understand. It's potential power to buy products, services, goods. So our goals, our passions, meaning the things that we're passionate about, actions we want to perform, activities, this is only possible through this energy. So motivation is present there. It's the energy that fuels persistence, enthusiasm, and dedication towards personal and professional pursuits. It's the fuel. So this is the second point, motivation and purpose. Third point here in core energy is emotional and mental balance. This is absolutely necessary. Core personal energy involves maintaining a balance in emotional and mental states, meaning our inner balance. Just like the car example, it's like our gears of the mind. They all have to be in balance. It includes the capacity to manage stress, maintain positive mental health, cultivate emotional intelligence. We get into all these ideas in the future. This balance is crucial for making the right decisions. This balance is crucial. It's like this: you're driving the car. If the wheels are imbalanced, even you want to make a left turn, right turn, it's a lot of confusion what to do. There's a problem in the balance. Our decisions are not made properly because of lack of balance. So the decisions are crucial for the balance is crucial for effective decision making, interpersonal relationships. Interpersonal relationships cannot be of good quality unless we ourselves are balanced, and overall contentment in life. Beautiful. Contentment doesn't mean lack of motivation. There's a satisfaction, state of happiness, state of, it's like you're driving on cruise control with a very nice balanced car and there's enough fuel and there's no problem. How do you feel? How do we feel? Very good. We feel at ease. Again, nothing earth-shattering here. This is very simple to understand. All right, now, having said this, one or two things to keep in mind. These 12 dimensions, they all are dependent on each other. They do not exist in isolation. Even though these boxes look like they're separate boxes, they're actually all together. We have to draw it this way to understand it. That's why I put these double-sided arrows, between these numbers. This doesn't mean one only interacts with two. It means one interacts with all 11. That's what that white star is all about. And they interact with each other, they intersect with each other, and they all function because of energy. If there are any comments or questions, please do ask about this. Let's go back here to this diagram. Are there any comments or questions? Anybody want to say anything at this point? We're already at 7:45. I'll take another 10 more minutes and we'll open it up. Now let's look at this overarching model. The model that we are starting with is the first year model, is the stage 1. On January 9th, 2024, we are starting the first 13 weeks. So this first year, it actually is 4 segments. The first 13-week segment, the second 13-week, third and fourth. And our hope is through this whole process that by the end of the first year, or close to that, or even before that, there would be 70% or more level of balancing in the 12 areas. Let's make that clear. The 12 areas are what? These are the 12 areas, 12 dimensions. There's a way to measure it, very easy, to determine on a week-to-week basis where we are with these 12 areas. And in doing so, our goal is by the time we get to the end of the first year, it could happen before that, we want to reach 70% or more level of balance across these 12 dimensions. And if there are problems in these areas, we will be able to provide general guidelines to how to resolve them. So that's the first year. Now, conceptually, I want to just explain this. Assuming for a moment, let's say a group of 15 people or 20 people, I don't know how many we'll have, but whatever that is in January, do the first 13 weeks, and they do 13 weeks. And then by the time the first year ends, which is 2024, you get to the second year. What's the goal in the second year? Is to sustain the achieved balance. This is even more interesting. We have times of balance. We want sustained balance. Let's understand that a bit, just for a moment. I want to make sure that's really clear. Take the car analogy again. The car is driving, and then you're driving the car, and now you put it on cruise control. 60 miles per hour, you on 81 south or whatever, it's on cruise control. Enough distance, the wheels are balanced, everything is balanced, enough fuel is going in that, and the car is going steadily. That is year 2. The balance is not damaged. Our goal in year number 2 is to sustain balance. I hope that makes sense. It's not difficult to understand. It's very easy, but sounds like a nice idea. We are interested in actually doing that, not just sounds like a nice idea. All right, that's the difference. Now let me go to the next point here. What is the third year? In the third year, it's actually only after stage 1 and 2 are really completed in the real sense, is the door open into self-mastery. Angel Wing guiding principle, the first one is self-mastery, but we're not going to be able to get to self-mastery until we do until we get to a sustained balance state. All of the other programs we have are also aiming for that same goal. Our workshops, our presentations, our retreats, everything we do is to reach that stage of self-mastery. But this program, the online program, is a systematic, very methodical way of going about it. The other programs are, they're more generic. They're also necessary. They're also methodical in their own way. So they all complement together. But people can just come for meditation, but they may not do dialogues. They might not do. There's different things people do from time to time. That's fine. This program is for those who are saying, yeah, I want balance. I really want it. I don't want to just think about it. Right? So now, conceptually, in the third year, it's like a door that opens. A door opens into self-mastery. Now, what is that? That gets really interesting. What exactly is that? Self-mastery, let's go back here for a moment. Let's go back to this diagram here. Self-mastery is the ability to masterfully move in the 12 dimensions without imbalancing them, without damaging core energy, and without wasting time. I hope you guys are with me on this. Self-mastery, when the door actually opens, and it could potentially open in the first year or even in the first 13 weeks, we don't know. It could open at any point. But self-mastery, conceptually at least, is where an individual is able to revolve in the 12 dimensions, move in the 12 dimensions of life without imbalancing them. This is what we are actually masters in. We are masters in imbalancing these 12. in somewhere. We like to argue with people. I don't know, whatever, 1,000 things are there. I won't go into all that. This is what people do. Most people have, quote, mastery in imbalance, not balance, and certainly not in realizing how to place energy where it needs to be. So there's 2 points. Mastery means to keep, there's a sustained balance. That's year 2. But year 3 is, wow, this is very interesting, is to be able to experience the different areas of life without imbalancing them, without damaging oneself, damaging core energy, and at the same time, allowing growth across the 12 dimensions further. That is self-mastery. Let's go back to this diagram. So that's where the opening, when the door opens, this is year 3. The whole year is spent, again, 4 13-week series are spent on that. So these ideas that we're talking about in Angel Wing, these are for all of humanity. But this program, this online program, is for those who say, yes, I'm ready to do this. And we do it a week at a time, a day at a time. Don't get overwhelmed by this diagram. I'm just showing you the concept. Now, stage 4 is advanced level. It simply means self-mastery is sustained. There is not a fallback. And if there is a fallback, there is the ability to get up and rebalance very quickly. Let's understand that point a little bit more clearly. Let's say, as time goes on, someone has actually reached self-mastery. The door is open and they're in it. Now it is about maintaining that self-mastery. And there's obstacles that come. Something occurs here. The individual is able to reconnect, reformulate, and in the moment, in relatively short time, rebalance. So the balancing happens very quickly, relatively quickly. That ability to balance from inside out, that ability is taught in that year, in that 4th year, because it's a much rapid balance, and the intelligence is, there's so much more energy awakening and conservation and more clarity, so much more development has happened. We'll be able to do that. Somebody starts yelling at us, we don't get disturbed in that. No. And if you get disturbed, that disturbance is tiny. You can immediately work on it and transform it right away. That is what sustained self-mastery means. These are not theories. There are theories, but we're not talking theoretically. This is actual. Now, let's go further. This is just, I'm going to make sure these points are there. Assuming somebody has reached that 4th stage, the 5th stage is where personal excellence opens up. Meaning what? What is that personal excellence? What does that mean actually? That means you as a human being, or me as a human being, we are ready to move into that area of our life where there is excellence. Excellence means what? Mastery is already there, but we select an area. Maybe it's in our profession, maybe it's in music, maybe it's in teaching, maybe it's in volunteer work, maybe it's in spirituality, some area where there is tremendous development. The people who have changed this world, they were in that state of excellence. We can also reach that. That is called personal. It's personal because it's about the person. It's different for each person. What's my mental makeup as Sachin is nobody else has exactly that same makeup. Maybe some similar ones are there. That is personal excellence. And then it is from that state, it is from that beautiful, amazing state of personal excellence. Stage 6 is sustained excellence. So you see sometimes people are at a very high level in their career or in family or whatever their passion may be. But then they have trouble. Something happens, they get imbalanced, some energy disturbance happens, the mastery is not, some difficulty happens, they get problems. So how to sustain that is what stage 6 is. And then stage 7 is what? If somebody is really at that stage, they can be a bridge to affect larger humanity at the mass level. That's how this whole thing is laid out. That's what human upliftment, although human upliftment occurs throughout this process, but those who are at that higher developmental stage, they can actually impact hundreds and hundreds of people, if not thousands or even more, without damaging their balance, without damaging their excellence. Now, are there any questions before I move to the next section here? 1 second here. I want to just give you an opportunity to make some comments, or I don't want to overload with too much. You might actually have to do a second part on this one, but unless we want to spend another half an hour. Are there any questions about this?
I have a question, Sachin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so you're talking about 13 weeks in January.
Yes.
So after the 13 weeks is over,
Yes.
what happens then?
So what happens then? Good question. After 13 weeks is over, the whole group of people who've done the first 13 weeks, they go to the next 13 weeks stage if they want to. It's all optional, obviously, but we would recommend that. So the next 13 week series begins to take this process further in the first year. So there's 4 13-week blocks in the first year.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and again, we'll have to see about scheduling and all that. It may not be done in the first year. We may have to extend it based on schedules and whatnot. Like if we have 15 people who really do this consistently, and they do it for 13 weeks, we see where they are, and then we select a start date for the next 13 weeks, and then we do it that way.
Can I ask you a couple more questions?
Yeah, ask anything, please. Yes.
So then, say for me, I am not going to be able to join the program online, but you said you're going to record it. From
Yes.
recording, I should be able to do the steps.
Yes.
What
Yes.
is needed?
Yes. Definitely. The whole thing is going to be recorded, so you'll have it as an MP4 video. It'll also be available as a private YouTube video. So you'll have it available. So if you cannot attend the live session, not to worry, you can do it on your own at another time. And then whenever you can attend the live one, that's fine.
Okay.
No problem at all. Absolutely.
And is there homework involved in this?
Yes, a little bit. Yes. So it's not, there's 2 pieces of homework. Since you asked that, let me go to the next section here and explain that very quickly here. Just a moment. Just a second. So what is the homework? So I'll tell you what that is. Just a moment. Before I answer that question, there's one more thing I want to just show you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some of you have seen this diagram before. Our goal is to not get into this lower realm, of these problems. If there are these problems, maybe treatment or medical intervention or psychiatric intervention or whatever that may be required. We don't provide that, obviously, but this program is for everyone. These principles are applicable to everyone. I just wanted to mention that, and our goal is to go further here. Now let's go to the next slide. What is the homework? There's 2 or 3 pieces of weekly homework. It's very easy. It's nothing hard at all. You see this 12-dimensional rating on a week-to-week basis, meaning that when we start on January 9th, and then a week after that, or we meet online again, you will rate all 12 dimensions just from your own experience, where you are on a scale of 0 to 10. That's what the X means. So my career, somebody will say, oh, my career is like at a 7 or 7.5 or an 8. So that's what that rating is. And it's a self-assessment. So this self-assessment is done on a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 signifies the highest and most optimal condition. Keep in mind that this rating should be based on your own perspective, and it is essential to be sincere, candid, and truthful with yourself. You're just rating yourself. Before the next session begins, you're rating across 12 areas. Where am I with all of those? And then we'll provide guidelines and guidance on how to do that. It'll become pretty straightforward once you do the first 2 weeks. This is one part of the homework. The other thing that continues here, one moment here. Yeah, so this is the rating here, 12 dimensions there. And then you can actually write that. There's a couple of ways of doing this. You just make a list on one of the workbooks. Workbook number 2 will be the 12-dimension workbook. You just put the date in there, put numbers 1 through 12, and you can put the number that you've selected. Very easy to do. If you need help with that, I'll be more than happy to show you how to do it if you have any issue with it. And you kind of just write out a simple sentence that relates to that. And then another way to do it is to, well, actually, hold on 1 second. There's something that I do want to show you here. Let's say in the first week for dimension 1, these are the dimensions here, 1 through 12 on the left. Sachin here gave himself a 5, a 4, a 7. If you add all those numbers up, it's 64. But the total, obviously, 10 times 12 is what? 120, right? So the 100% level would be 120. That number would be 120. Our goal is to get to 84 or more by the time we finish the first year. So there's a tracking sheet. This is a tracking sheet. This is available in Excel. You just put the numbers in Excel, or you can do it manually. There's a lot of ways of doing it, and we'll be able to track that very, very easily. It's nothing hard. If you have any issue with that, just talk to me about it. I'll show you how to do that. That's the first part of the homework. And then the second part of the homework, let me show you something here. There's two more things to do. This is the central concept. This entire model is based on this central concept. I'm going to read this. Don't get overwhelmed by this. Don't try to understand it all right now. There's a lot in it. But on a 3x card, you will write this in the first week. This entire statement, it's jam-packed. And by the time you get to week 4 or 5, maybe even earlier, maybe a little bit later, this will be in your mind. Because one of the homework exercises is to read this card once daily before going to bed, maybe in the morning. You just keep it somewhere where you just read it. You don't have to even think about it. You just read it. That's it. Nothing else. If you want to think about it, you can. Right? I'm not going to go through this right now because it'll take more time. So that's the second homework exercise. The third there's 4 homework exercises. Actually, wait a minute. Yes, that's the second homework. The third homework exercise, let's go back to this. We have identified 52 principles of quantum transformation. Okay. Each week, in the first 13-week series, we're going to focus on each one of these. So the first one is acceptance. So how do we do that? Let me show you. Show you very easily here. Well, I guess I didn't have that thing in here. Hold on a second here. Hold on. I may have to go to a different slide here. Just a second. Just a moment. So yeah, here it is. I hope you can see this slide. Can you see the acceptance on the screen there? No, you cannot see that? Hold on one second. Just a moment. Let's do this again. Let's go back here. Should be able to see it now. So this is the statement about acceptance, a definition of acceptance. Just hold on one moment here. Current slide. What you'll be doing on the 3x5 card is to write this in the first week online. You write this sentence, this entire paragraph on the 3x5 card. And the exercise, the recommended exercise is this. Before you have your meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, 3 times, keep this with you and just read this one time before you put something in your mouth. Read this entire statement and you do that. And that's the third exercise. So that's that. And then as the online exercises are done, there can be some additional pieces that you may need to do or finish before the next session. So it's pretty straightforward, but it has many pieces in there. You get the hang of it once you start doing it. And it's a way of putting the transformative principles in our mind. It's got to go in our mind first. Central concept has to go in our mind. The transformative principle has to go in our mind. Our rating of the 12 dimensions. Okay, where are we now? What this does, it makes each of us look at our life. Oh, wait a minute, where's my money? Okay, financially, where am I? I'm at a 7 here. Or, I need to go for exercise today. You'll know from inside what needs to be done. And you'll be able to write that. And there's exercises that are done, when we actually start the program. It's a 1 hour it's a series of exercises and presentations, and you'll be writing stuff down. It's hands-on. But that's a snapshot of this entire journey. I could keep talking about it for hours, but mindful of time, I know that it's already 8:05. I want to open it up. I would request each of you, if it's possible, if you don't mind, just to kind of introduce yourself. Any comments? What is your perspective? What is your thinking about this? And are you ready to do this? Are you ready to try this at least? Now I do want to make one caveat. I spoke to CHETANA about it before. If you feel that it's too much, or I don't think it'll happen, but if you feel that, if you think you're not, after 3 weeks, you think you cannot do all of it, don't worry about trying to do all of it. Do what you can. Attend the programs, because this is an ongoing process, But if you to get the maximum benefit, do it properly. It won't take that much time to do a 12-dimensional rating. Easy to do. You just keep that 3x5 card with you on your kitchen table, or there's other ways of doing that. And just read. You don't have to even think about the statement, but you read it every day for a week, 3 times a day. Just read the sentence, the QTP, quantum transformation statement. And when you read that, it will get programmed inside. And the central concept will get programmed also inside. So I think we have Shuparna with us also. Shuparna, would you, Shuparna and Chetana both have done the trial run of this. I don't know how many weeks Shuparna did. If you want to kind of share your experience, and then I really want to hear from all of you, any comments, questions anybody has. So let's go to Shuparna first, and then we'll go from there.
Hi, Sachin. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I did for 6 weeks of the trial run. It was great. It was great. Like Sachin said, that there's a lot of hands-on stuff, things to do, not just homework-wise, but just like when you're doing it in class or in session. There's a lot of hands-on stuff to do. I'm personally very excited to do it. I'm ready to do it. I have my notebooks ready, and yes, like you do need the supplies. The supplies that is asked. It is something that you would need, and if you have colored pens or something to like make it more interesting, you can do that as well. For me, it was a fun experience, and I am excited to go start again.
Okay, all right. So thank you for sharing that. Are there any comments, questions anybody has?
I just have one question.
Please.
Not program related. I mean, it is program related, but not the content of the program related. But what if, say, I missed a week, right? Like I know that I can go back on the and watch the videos,
Yeah.
but technically I'm gonna be like a week behind, right? So when I'm doing, like, say, reading the transformation principle for a week or whatever that week's task is, I'm gonna be a week behind, right?
So yes.
So how do you make up for that?
You don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about it. If it happens, like you're on a vacation or something, I don't know, whatever, you can't do it for some reason, or you miss it somehow. If you fall back in that, you just continue from where we are. You don't worry about trying to make that up. Just continue from where you are. And then at some later time, you can go through some of those videos again and go through those exercises if you want to. But just continue from where you are. See, there's going to be times when we fall back. Just you have to get up and keep going, because these weeks are interconnected, but they're also independent. It doesn't mean that if you miss week 3, you just can't do week 4. That's not the case. That's really just they stand alone in their own way.
Okay.
Yeah. So do not worry about that at all.
Okay.
Pratimaji, good to see you. Thank you for attending today. Any comments or questions you might have?
No, I mean, it's very well explained. Let me start with my introducing myself.
Yes, please.
Pratima Karnik from Edison, New Jersey. I retired from my career path of human resources for 26 years, and I just retired last year. So now I'm just spending the time enjoying the retirement and, getting to know more and engaging into the activities, what Sachin is presented, and I'm very, very interested into attending this 13 weeks program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please.
The question on that is like how long each session will be?
So yes, great question. This is on Tuesday evenings, starting on January 9th. It goes 13 weeks straight, every Tuesday, the same time, 8 p.m. It's after dinner, after everything is done, so people are at home and relaxed. You can do it online, and it goes from 8 to 9. I'll try to keep it to an hour. And then from 9 to 9:30 or even longer, there's discussion, questions, people want to share what's going on, anything, so there can be all kinds of questions. I mean, Debbie might say, well, wait a minute, this idea that you're talking about with regards to the family relationship piece or something, she will say, I want to talk about that. I will have some questions. So that's for Q&A. Q&A, but I would say Q&A dialogue discussion, that's after 9 o'clock. If you want to stay for that. If you don't want to, that's okay. But you can, and it's just 1 hour, that's all. Other comments? Go ahead. Yeah, anything else, please? Ms. Vaughn, would you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, my name is Yvonne Collick, and I'm from East Norriton, Pennsylvania, and
Wonderful.
just interested in learning more about the program and possibly joining.
Sure. To sign up for that, just go to the website, and then you'll see the pop-up, and there's a link right inside there. There's 2 or 3 questions to answer. That's all. That way I'll know. Otherwise, you can always just send me an email or a text. I just need to know if you're going to join. That's all. And even if you don't sign up, but if you just come online that day, I'll know that way. So
Is the homework included? Like, you ran through that pretty quickly, all the homework assignments. Are they going to be provided again?
yes, everything.
Okay.
So when we do the first week, you will have you'll have 2 workbooks with you. You'll have workbook 1, workbook 2. You'll be writing pieces in there, and then those homework assignments, the 3x card, 3x5 card, you'll have 2 of those. So in the first week, we'll be writing all that down, and it'll be available for you. And then it's very easy, and then you just do it on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, so no homework is due on the 9th. The 9th is when the program starts.
No, there's nothing due on the 9th. We're just today's just our informational overview. Yeah, and it's very simple. There's really, I try to design this in a way that a 6th grader, 7th grader can do it, and an 80, 90-year-old man can also do it, man or woman, and everybody else in between. The principles are universally applicable. I've made it very straightforward. But I would also like to hear, let me see. We didn't hear from Felling and from Eileen, and from Debbie. Debbie, you want to say something about this?
Well, I'm excited, but I'm a little nervous, that I can put the time into it.
Remember what I said, that if you cannot make it at a week, you can always watch the video later. And if you can't watch the video later, just continue with the group. Don't make that into an obstacle. It's better to attend, even if you attend only half of them. I don't want to say that really. I want to see you guys attend all of them. But it could happen like that. It's better to attend even 3 or 4 of these rather than not doing any of it. So, but do the best you can with it. Yeah. Eileen, go ahead.
Irene and I were talking about the homework, and we were a little nervous about the homework.
It's very easy.
I hope so.
It's fun homework. It's not something we don't want to do. It's like drawings and pictures and things like that. So it's also because it gives you that time, like, how you're so good at it, Debbie, in the sense that that when you go and write down stuff, you think and introspect. It's similar. It's very similar. So it's more like creative. So I think it's just more fun. So you could get a visual of it in your mind for you. So I think it's going to be more fun then. Yeah, I don't want anybody to think as it homework. It's just more because we cannot do everything in the session, right? If it's an hour session, we won't be able to complete everything. So it's more like, okay, I did half of it and then I finish my artwork at home kind of thing. So it's something like that. So I think it's more that.
Yes, and Chetana did all 13 weeks. It's a trial run. Shuparna, you did the homework also. Do you want to say something about that?
No, like the only thing was what Dr. Chetana said, that don't be alarmed that it's not really a homework. It might be like complete the sentences like we did in school. You might have a little bit of time during the session to complete the first 3, and then you might have to do the other 7 at home. So something like that. And to me, I think it was great because it kind of made you think outside the box. And not just like think outside the box, but think outside of what we normally think. We don't think about simple sentences anymore. We don't think about very simple writings anymore because we don't do it. And when you start doing these every week and the practices, and then you're like, wow, this seems like I'm back in 2nd grade, but it's so hard to kind of go back to that mind space when you do, it's just very, very useful. So it's nothing hard or anything. It's just, you got to do it.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
And the good thing is if we're doing it as a group, then that gives us a lot of more impetus to do that. If you're just doing it by yourself, it's like, oh, maybe I'll do it. I won't do it. We do it together as a group. Yes.
The other thing we would suggest, and I think it might be something good, is to kind of have, I don't know how many people will be there. We'll see how many people actually sign up and are there in the program. to get partners, so that you can
Yes.
actually bounce each other off and have each other accountable. That way, it's more fun, right? So it's just,
I agree.
it'd be harder to do it by yourself. And it could be online. Everything is online now. It doesn't have to be in-person partners. Just like this, you could do FaceTime or even get on Zoom, or there's so many of the platforms to do that. So I think that would be one other way to make this more fun, to have somebody work with you and just do that. That could be one of the.
And there's one more thing I forgot to mention, that once we complete the first 13 weeks, you will receive a certificate of completion. We will call it something else. It'll be signed by the Angel Wing. It'll be signed by Dr. CHETANA KRIPALU as the CEO, so as a completion, because I think we may have a couple of students doing this actually who are in high school, so so they can use it for one of their school projects. They can use it for, they can put it on their resume, stuff like that. So there's a lot of benefit in doing this in many ways. We didn't hear from Felling and from Eileen. So Felling, good to see you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I'm really excited to start, and I hope I can, I can attend every session of this.
Sure.
But I didn't, all the stages you mentioned, I didn't get what was stage 4.
Okay, let's go into that. Good question. Let's go back to that for a moment. All right, yes, please do ask. Let me see, where is that? Just a second here. You should be able to see this here.
Yeah,
okay,
I don't see it on my computer. That's why I see 1, 2, 3. I see 5, 6, 7, but I don't see 4.
You don't see 4? Okay, hold on 1 second here. I wonder why. That is strange, actually. Okay, hold on a second. Maybe you can see it this way. Can you see it now?
Yes. Oh, now it disappeared again.
Wait, can you see it now?
No.
But you are going to put it on the notes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should be able to
be there.
Yeah, I'll be able to get it on the notes then.
Yeah. Okay, so all that simply means is it's a stage 4 is where an individual who is going through this process, they are actually in self-mastery. The door is open, and you walk through the door, and you're in that. Think of it like this: you're in one room, and you're going into another room, and there's a door in between. And now that door is cracked open. Oh, you get to see the light of what is self-mastery. It's really amazing. And once you walk through that, then it's about staying in that second room. It's like that. So it's a sustained state of self-mastery. So the imbalance has disappeared. Pretty much 90% or more of the imbalance is gone. Yeah, there are always rebalancing that is done, but the imbalances are no longer really present in the state of sustained mastery. How many people in the world are like that? Very few. But Sachin's hypothesis, and I think Dr. CHETANA, who has supported me in this one, I believe, this is just a belief on my part, I believe if we go through this process, we can all get there. There's not a single human being that may not be able to get there if we actually take the proper steps. And it's not hard. It's not a question. I'll tell you one comment. What we are doing as human beings now with all of the imbalances, that's hard. This is not hard. This is actually very straightforward. So anyway.
It's really, we don't want people to stress out about this. Whole idea is to de-stress the whole program.
It's a lot of fun.
I think, let's not get into the, it's just designed so it gives us some kind of food for thought and, just a different way of thinking or being and things like that. So I think that's all it is. So if you are in the program, then you get to do those things. Whatever you could do is a plus. It's not that it's, it's going to take you backwards or anything like that. We just wanted to do it more like a framework so that we kind of move along, chug along. So anything you do is going to be more than what you, you started off with. At least that's the way I felt. So it's all wonderful. So I don't think it's only going to be fun. And, just attend when you can, listen to the video or read it when you can. Even the cards which you're supposed to read 3 times a day, even if you get 2 times a day, it's good, but it's just to stay in your mind. That's why we say 3 times a day. It's just because it's more like present with that statement, right? It lingers on in your subconscious. What does that actually mean? And so at one point, it might just dawn on you and say, hey, wait a minute, it actually makes sense. It may not be the first time and the second time. So it's all about repetition, how you build habits. things like that. So yeah, it's not about, just staying in it. That's it. And that itself will give you so much of, benefit, or it'll make it worthwhile.
Very nice. Very
I
nice.
have to go. Thank you so much. But I'm so excited to see each and every one of you in the program. And it's going to be exciting, I promise. And
Thank
it's
you.
all Sachin's work. I'm just a witness here. So it's just good. All right. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. But I'll see you soon. I'll see you.
Night.
Okay.
Good night.
Good
Miss
night.
Eileen, we haven't heard from you at all.
Yeah, I don't have much to say, Session. I'm excited. I am glad you guys are lightening up on the requirements, and I don't feel like it's going to be so confining because I know I'm not going to be able to make each and every week because of my schedule.
Sure.
And it sounds very encouraging, and I'm looking forward to growing through the different steps and just trying something different.
Very good.
And it
Very
all
good.
sounds positive, so it's going to be good.
Very good.
It's
Wonderful.
just, how much time we can get in.
Sure.
An hour segment is doable.
Yeah.
An hour and a half, 2 hours would be a stretch.
Sure.
But going to give it my best effort, and I'm glad you're going to have YouTube videos that we could watch on our off times just in case we miss it. So
Yes. So
I'm
thank you
looking
for
forward to it.
Thank you so much. And remember that the program is, it's on Tuesdays just for an hour, but after the hour is for, I'll be staying online for anybody who has any questions or comments. That's all, so, and there's going to be supplementary material about the 12 dimensions, how to balance them. There's a lot of interesting stuff that will be all added to that sequentially. So there's no tension in this at all. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's, as I said to you, a 6th or 7th grader could do it, and all of us can do it also. But it'll be effective. That's our hope. Okay. Anybody
did you
else?
did you find that Tuesdays were the best day and at that time? Or
Yeah, but because we have Wednesday is Dr. Berman's presentation and meditation. We have Monday, we have our Monday evening meditation. Then Fridays are not good for most people. Then Saturday, and then Sunday evening we have our dialogue. So Tuesday is the time that is that a problem for you? I don't know.
a little bit, like Thursdays would be better for me, but that's fine. I can figure something out. So
okay, yeah. So see if you can. I mean, please try to make it at that time. I mean, in the future, after we do this first 13-week series, then we will. I actually want to do it on twice a week. I'm going to have 2 groups of people on Tuesday and Thursday, but that'll be down the road sometime. So but I want to do this first and get feedback from all of you, see what it feels like. We've never done anything like this before. So it's quite different. So, right? Anything else anybody has at all? Debbie, Milu, anything you want to say at all? Right? It's clear? Good. So this is recorded. I'll send it to you in the Angel Wing WhatsApp group and through your emails also. So this recording. And if there's any questions or anything anybody has about this, text me, email me. I'll be available to assist you with this. Okay. And we're
Thanks a lot
starting
for the presentation session.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll sign off here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Sure.
night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Every day,